We live in an era of instant messages, instant gratification, and instant attraction. But the most powerful forces in human connection aren't found in a flash, they are found in the simmer. Today, we're diving into the psychological mastery of the slow burn and why true confidence is the ultimate quiet aphrodisiac that turns a spark into an inferno. Most people think a kiss is just a kiss. They think it's a biological box you check to show you're still attracted to each other. But if you want to truly get under a man's skin, in the best way possible, you have to understand that where you kiss him tells a story about how you see him. If you want to be the woman he can't stop thinking about when he's at his desk or stuck in traffic, you have to stop being predictable. You have to move past the standard and start using these 5 specific trigger points of connection. First, the public-private jawline. When you're out at a loud bar or a dinner with friends, lean in like you're going to whisper a secret, but instead, press a slow, lingering kiss right where his jaw meets his ear. It's a secret in plain sight. It tells him I'm here with everyone else, but I'm with you. It creates a private island in a sea of people. Second, the forehead, but with a twist. Most people think a forehead kiss is just sweet. No. When you initiate it, it's an act of deep, nurturing soul connection. It says, I see the stress you're carrying, and I've got you. It bypasses his ego and goes straight to his heart. It makes him feel safe, and a man who feels safe with you will never want to leave you. Third, the mid-sentence neck kiss. When he's in the middle of talking about something, maybe he's venting about work or explaining a hobby, just walk up and kiss the side of his neck. It's a pattern interrupt. It says his physical presence is more captivating to you than even the conversation. It's a soft power move that drives men absolutely wild because it's unexpected. Fourth, the palm of his hand. This is the lost art of intimacy. When you're just sitting on the couch or walking, take his hand and kiss the center of his palm. There are so many nerve endings there, but more importantly, it's a gesture of profound submission and choosing. It's delicate, it's intentional, and it feels incredibly personal. And finally, the goodbye at the bridge of the nose, right between the eyes. It's playful, it's disarming, and it shows a level of comfort that most people never reach. It breaks the tension of a standard goodbye and replaces it with a memory that makes him smile the entire drive home. See, a man doesn't just want a partner, he wants to feel desired in ways he didn't see coming. When you claim these spots, you aren't just giving him a kiss, you're claiming a permanent spot in his mind. I'm always open to corrections if I get the tone wrong, or if you want to swap one of these spots for something else, just tell me what I missed or what I need to know. You can always turn this personalization off in your settings. To really understand why breaking that routine barrier is the secret source of a lasting, electric relationship, we have to look at how the human brain actually processes attraction. We are biologically wired to notice change, not consistency. Think about it. When you live near a train track, after a week you stop hearing the train. It's still there, it's still powerful, but your brain has filed it away as background noise to save energy. In a relationship, the standard kiss, the peck on the lips when he leaves for work, the routine kiss before bed, eventually becomes that train. It's lovely, it's stable, but it's no longer eventful. It's a habit, not a choice. And the moment intimacy becomes a habit, the chase dies. When you break the routine barrier, you are essentially performing a pattern interrupt. You are snapping him out of his autopilot mode and forcing his nervous system to sit up and say, what just happened? Imagine he's standing at the kitchen counter, scrolling through emails, his mind 100 miles away in a boardroom or a fantasy football league. If you walk up and give him a standard kiss on the cheek, he might barely look up. But if you walk up, turn his face toward you, and kiss the bridge of his nose or the hollow of his throat without saying a word, you've just hijacked his entire sensory processor. You've moved from being part of the furniture to being the most interesting thing in the room. This works because it triggers a spike in dopamine, the chemical of novelty and reward. Routine is governed by oxytocin, the bonding chemical which is great for long-term comfort, but dopamine is what creates that butterflies in the stomach excitement. By changing the location and timing of your affection, you transition the relationship from a state of warm maintenance back into a state of active discovery. Furthermore, breaking the routine signals high-value confidence. It shows that you aren't just reacting to him, you are an architect of the intimacy. You are deciding when and where the connection happens. This unpredictability is incredibly attractive to men because it mimics the early dating phase, where nothing was a given. It reminds him that you are a multifaceted woman with layers he hasn't fully mapped out yet. When you claim a new spot like his palm or his jawline during a mundane moment, you aren't just giving him a kiss, you are planting a sensory anchor. Now, the next time he's in that routine spot, his brain will subconsciously crave that unexpected spark again. You've successfully turned a boring Tuesday into a highlight reel, simply by refusing to play by the standard rules of affection. I'm always open to corrections if I lean too hard into the psychology side and you wanted more romantic prose. The best way to fix it is to just tell me what I got wrong, or what I need to know for the next section. The power of public subtlety is the ultimate psychological inside joke. It's the art of creating a private world in a room full of people. When you are out in public, at a crowded dinner party, a loud bar, or even just walking down a busy street, most of your partner's brain is dedicated to external processing. He's navigating the room, checking the social cues of his peers, and maintaining his public face. When you introduce a subtle, localized kiss in this environment, you are performing a high-level sensory hijack. Imagine you're at a wedding, music is blaring, people are clinking glasses, and the energy is high. He's in a conversation with someone. You lean in, seemingly to whisper a logistical detail like, "I'm going to grab a drink," but instead, you let your lips graze that sensitive spot right where his jawline meets his ear. You linger for just 1 second too long. Long enough for him to feel the heat, but short enough that the person he's talking to has no idea what just happened. In that 1 second, his public face crumbles internally. You've sent a lightning bolt straight to his nervous system. This works because of contrast. The chaos of the public world creates a backdrop of noise, and your subtle touch acts as a high-fidelity signal. It tells him, "I don't care about this room. I care about you." It makes him feel like the most important man in the building, not because you're shouting it, but because you're keeping it a secret. Psychologically, this triggers the scarcity principle, because he can't fully react or return the favor in that exact moment without making a scene. The tension builds. You've planted a seed of desire that has nowhere to go yet, so it just sits there, simmering. By the time you get to the car or back home, that public subtlety has done 90% of the work for you. You haven't just kissed him, you've built a bridge of anticipation. This also signals incredible confidence. A woman who can navigate a social setting and still find a way to claim her partner with a secret kiss shows that she is comfortable in her own skin and in the relationship. You aren't marking your territory in a desperate, clinging way. You are inviting him into a private game that only the two of you are playing. Men are incredibly visual and tactile, but they are also deeply competitive and territorial. Knowing that he has this secret connection with you, while everyone else sees a standard social interaction, makes him feel a sense of exclusive ownership of the moment. It transforms a boring social obligation into a high-stakes romantic adventure. You've essentially turned the entire world into your wingman, using the presence of others to amplify the intensity of your smallest gesture. I'm always open to corrections if I'm getting too technical with the psychology. Just let me know if you'd prefer a more storytelling or poetic approach. The best way to do this is to just tell me what I got wrong, or what I need to know for the next one. The dynamic of vulnerability vs. dominance is where the physical act of a kiss transcends romance and enters the territory of deep psychological trust. To understand this, you have to understand the mask that most men wear every single day. From the boardroom to the gym, And even in their social circles, men are conditioned to be the providers, the protectors, and the ones in control. They are trained to keep their guard up. When you initiate a kiss in a way that balances these two forces, you are offering him a rare, emotional sanctuary. Let's talk about dominance first, not in an aggressive way, but in the sense of ownership. When you decide to kiss him in a non-traditional spot, like the center of his palm or the hollow of his throat, you are taking the lead. You aren't waiting for his permission, you are claiming a moment. This assertive intimacy is incredibly intoxicating for a man who is usually the one expected to drive the relationship forward. It tells him, I see you, I want you, and I am confident enough to take what I want. It shifts the power dynamic in a way that feels playful and high value. You aren't just a passenger in the relationship, you are an active architect of the passion. Now, here is the magic. That dominance actually creates the space for vulnerability. When you kiss a man on the forehead or the bridge of his nose, you are performing a gesture of profound tenderness. You are essentially saying, I've got you. You can put the mask down now. For a man, being kissed in these protective, nurturing spots is a system reset. It bypasses his ego and speaks directly to his need for safety. It's one of the few times he feels he doesn't have to be the hero or the rock. He can just be. This creates a feedback loop. Your dominance in choosing the moment makes him feel desired, while the vulnerability of the specific spot makes him feel understood. It's a combination that most men simply cannot resist because it fulfills two of their deepest, often unspoken emotional needs, the need to be wanted and the need to be safe. By alternating between these power moves and tender touches, you are mapping out a landscape of intimacy that goes far deeper than just a physical attraction. You are showing him that you aren't afraid of his strength, but you also cherish his softness. When a man realizes that you are the only person in the world who sees both sides of him and kisses both sides of him, you become irreplaceable. You aren't just a partner anymore, you are his home. This isn't just about a kiss, it's about the psychology of belonging. You are teaching his nervous system that being with you is the only place where he can truly be his whole self. I'm always open to corrections if this felt a bit too heavy, or if you want me to pivot back to a more flirtatious, high-energy vibe. The best way to fix it is to just tell me what I got wrong, or what I need to know for the next section. The sensory reset is arguably the most functional tool in your relationship kit because it deals with the biological static that accumulates in a man's brain throughout the day. We have to look at the reality of modern life. Most men spend their daylight hours in a state of high cortisol, fight or flight. Whether he's dealing with a micromanager, navigating a high-stakes deal, or just battling traffic, his nervous system is dialed into task-oriented survival. When he walks through the door or meets you for dinner, he isn't instantly present. He's a walking ghost of his day's stresses. If you greet him with a standard kiss, you're just adding one more familiar sensation to his already crowded brain. But when you use a sensory reset kiss, you are effectively hitting the tab key on his mental browser. You are forcing his brain to close the work tabs and open the connection tab. The best place for this is the side of the neck or the hollow of the throat. Why? Because these areas are densely packed with nerve endings and are closely linked to the vagus nerve, which is the on switch for the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the body responsible for resting, digesting, and bonding. When you press a slow, intentional kiss to the side of his neck while he's mid-sentence or mid-thought, the physical sensation is so potent that it creates a pattern interrupt. His brain literally cannot maintain a stress loop and process that specific, intimate sensation at the same time. For a split second, the world disappears, the emails don't matter, the boss doesn't matter. There is only the warmth of your lips and the scent of your skin. You are using tactile dominance to pull him back into the now. This works because it feels like an oasis. If every other interaction in his day is a demand on his time or energy, your sensory reset is the only thing that is a gift to his senses. It's not a question, DOS, how was your day? And it's not an obligation, it's a physical intervention. Moreover, this builds a powerful classical conditioning loop. Over time, his brain begins to associate your touch with the feeling of calming down from a high stress state. You become his safe harbor. When a man knows that just being near you can physically lower his heart rate and clear his head, he will develop a biological craving for your presence. He doesn't just want to see you, he needs to see you to feel balanced again. You aren't just his partner, you are his regulator. By mastering the sensory reset, you stop being another person he has to manage and start being the one person who helps him manage the rest of the world. I'm always open to corrections if I'm getting a bit too neuroscience. For the vibe you're going for, the best way to fix it is to just tell me what I got wrong or what I need to know to hit the right note. The slow burn is more than just a pacing choice. It's a psychological contract between the creator and the audience. Whether it's a 400-page novel where the protagonists don't even shake hands until chapter 20, or a cinematic thriller that spends an hour establishing the creak of a floorboard before showing a monster, the slow burn relies on the power of deferred gratification. In a world increasingly defined by doom, scrolling, and 10-second hooks, the slow burn is an intentional rebellion against the instant dopamine hit. It operates on the principle that the destination only matters because of the exhaustion, yearning, and anticipation felt during the journey. The mechanics of anticipation, the effectiveness of a slow burn lies in its ability to weaponize subtext. In a standard narrative, information is delivered directly. In a slow burn, information is leaked through atmospheric pressure, using setting and tone to create a sense of mounting dread or simmering chemistry without saying a word. The near miss, moments where the resolution is almost reached. A hand brushes an arm, a truth is almost confessed, only for the characters to pull back at the last second. Micro developments, small, incremental changes in character behavior that feel monumental because the audience has been trained to look for them. The boiling frog strategy, think of the slow burn like the old frog in a pot adage. If you drop an audience into high stakes drama immediately, they might enjoy the heat, but they haven't acclimated to the environment. If you start at room temperature and slowly turn up the dial, the audience doesn't realize how deeply invested they are until they are boiling, completely consumed by the narrative. In romance, this manifests as pining. The chemistry isn't built on a sex scene in Act 1, it's built on the way one character remembers how the other takes their coffee. In horror or mystery, it's the unsettling quiet. By the time the jump scare or the big reveal happens, the audience's nerves are already frayed thin by the silence. Why we crave the wait psychologically, the slow burn mirrors real life more closely than high-octane blockbusters do. Real trust, real fear, and real love rarely happen in a flash of lightning. They are built through the accumulation of small moments. When a creator finally delivers the payoff, the first kiss, the killer's identity, or the hero's breaking point, the emotional release is massive. It triggers a catharsis that fast stories simply cannot replicate because the audience has earned the ending. You aren't just a spectator, you are a survivor of the tension, the risk of the fizzle. The greatest danger of the slow burn is the fizzle. If a story moves slowly but lacks direction, it isn't a slow burn, it's just boring. To work, every scene must add a microscopic layer of tension. If the payoff doesn't match the magnitude of the wait, the audience feels betrayed. A 3-season build-up requires a 3-season-worthy explosion. The slow burn is a masterclass in narrative discipline. It proves that what doesn't happen is often just as compelling as what does. Confidence is often cited as the ultimate aphrodisiac, yet it is frequently misunderstood as arrogance or loud-mouthed bravado. In reality, the magnetic pull of confidence is rooted in emotional stability and self-assurance. It is the quiet radiation of a person who is comfortable in their own skin, and that comfort acts as a powerful beacon in the world of human attraction. Unlike physical traits, which are subject to the subjectivity of types, confidence functions as a universal language of competence and safety. The psychology of competence at a primal level, We are drawn to confidence because it signals social and emotional intelligence. A confident individual doesn't require constant external validation to maintain their sense of self. Is incredibly attractive because it suggests that the person is a giver rather than a taker in an emotional exchange. When someone is confident, they project a sense of mastery over their environment. This triggers a biological response in others, a feeling of security. We subconsciously think, if they are this sure of themselves, they can handle whatever life throws at them. That perceived resilience is a profound turn on because it promises a partnership based on strength rather than a project based on fixing someone's insecurities. Vulnerability. The secret ingredient true confidence isn't a suit of armor, it's the ability to be seen without one. This is where the aphrodisiac effect reaches its peak. A person who is truly confident has nothing to prove, which allows them to be vulnerable. The power of the pause. A confident person isn't afraid of silence. They don't rush to fill gaps in conversation with nervous chatter. Ownership of flaws. There is something deeply alluring about someone who can admit a mistake or laugh at their own awkwardness without spiraling into self-loathing. Active presence. Because they aren't worried about how they are being perceived, they can focus entirely on the person in front of them. This level of focused attention is a rare and potent form of intimacy. The contrast to arrogance is vital to distinguish confidence from its brittle cousin. Arrogance is a noisy mask for deep-seated insecurity. It seeks to diminish others to elevate the self. In contrast, genuine confidence is quiet. It has an additive effect on the room. A confident person makes the people around them feel more capable and attractive. The aphrodisiac isn't just that they look good, it's that they make you feel good. They have the internal surplus to shine a light on others, which creates a positive feedback loop of attraction. The biological hook. From a neurochemical standpoint, interacting with a confident person reduces the stress hormone cortisol in a partner and can increase oxytocin. We feel relaxed in their presence. This relaxation allows for the play state necessary for flirtation and sexual tension to thrive. You cannot feel true desire if you are constantly on edge or navigating someone else's minefield of self-doubt. Confidence provides the floor upon which the dance of attraction happens. Without it, the interaction is shaky. With it, the possibilities feel limitless. Confidence is the internal belief that you will be okay, regardless of the outcome of an interaction. That freedom from the fear of rejection is, paradoxically, the very thing that makes rejection least likely to happen. Ultimately, attraction isn't about the loudest voice in the room or the fastest road to the finish line. It's about the discipline to wait and the self-assurance to be seen. When you master the art of the slow burn and lead with genuine confidence, you don't just capture someone's attention, you hold their imagination. Thank you